So just the other day, on June 9th, the crew for Artemis III has been announced. Well, before we actually get to the four main crew members, we're going to talk a little bit about the plan for Artemis III. So Artemis III is an upcoming crewed spaceflight mission of NASA's led Artemis program, and this is planned for 2027. The mission is designed as a crewed demonstration flight in low Earth orbit rather than a lunar landing. When the early plans for Artemis 3 after Artemis 2, this was originally planned as a lunar landing, but it was later then pushed to Artemis 4 for 2028. So Artemis 3 took its place to be a low Earth orbit to demonstrate the most complex human space flights as it's ever attempted, involving three separate launches for the most powerful rockets in the world and intended to evaluate Orion space systems, propulsion, communications, and operational concepts for the future lunar missions. And spaceflight interoperability through a series of renderers and docking demonstrations involving NASA and commercial vehicles. And these are planned for the future for lunar missions to kind of just demonstrate all of this. And to understand the concepts of where they will be in low Earth orbit in the docking station. Well, in this diagram, let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay. This is up close, so I'm gonna zoom in so I can be in the frame. Zoom out so I can be in the frame. Okay. So right here, this is what's happening in low Earth orbit. The International Space Station itself is 40 miles closer to the Earth than what the Artemis 3 crew will be stationed above. So the Artemis 3 crew will be 40 miles above the International Space Station. So if you put that in perspective of looking at it from this globe, right, from this little model styrofoam Earth, and I've made videos about the styrofoam Earth in the past before, the International Space Station is roughly just the entire height of just one coin above this model Earth surface, only about at least a millimeter. And the Artemis 3 crew will be 290 miles above Earth's surface, putting them basically about here. So about a millimeter, 1.3 millimeters above our model Earth. So that is the whole plan to dock at low Earth orbit to test the integration of software, communications, docking, and then testing the early versions of human landing systems just in that realm before we get to our anticipated lunar landing by 2028 with Artemis 4. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be announcing the crew members here on this video. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Randy Bresnik, NASA astronaut, Marine Corps Colonel, former ISS mission commander and test pilot with over 7,000 flight hours. Our pilot will be Luca Parmitano, ESA astronaut, the Italian Air Force colonel and test pilot, becoming the first ESA astronaut on an Artemis mission. Our mission specialist, Frank Rubio, NASA astronaut, family medicine physician, Army Black Hawk pilot, and record holder for the longest single American spaceflight with only 371 days on the ISS in 2022 to 2023. Andre Douglas, NASA astronaut, Coast Guard Reserve Commander, making his first spaceflight on Artemis 3. And with our backup being Bob Hines. NASA astronaut, former ISS crew member, can step into any role if he needs to. So if, being a backup, that means if if one of the crew members gets sick or they can't operate their duties, or something that goes wrong, well, Bob Hines will be the backup and be ordered to this mission if something does happen to one of the crew members. So he will just act as a backup. So yeah, that's gonna be the whole crew. We have 4 main crew members of Artemis 3. That was announced June 9th. Thank you. So at the very end, I'm very excited for this crew right here. They're gonna perform the most incredible samples. They're gonna perform the most critical tests in low Earth orbit. These guys worked so hard in making this come to life and setting the seeds for the next Artemis mission that will become the lunar landing for Artemis 4 in 2028. So go Artemis, go!